Look, let's identify and clarify the most essential point. As Bulgakov famously put it, the process of ruin begins right inside people's heads.
Mind?
And only then does it pee in the hallways. Putin first appeared in people's heads as a project, as a demand and a project.
As a demand and a project.
Yes, you see, and only after that did he actually materialize. So you can't say that, again, it's precisely the same as with communism. The only thing is, I might be wrong. I might veer off somewhere, as you say, quite firmly. Putin initially emerged first as a collective social demand and then as a social project. And then, ultimately, over time, he found his material human embodiment. And in his place, physically, there could have been some other person. He would have brought along with him certainly something else entirely. We would have seen a different version and perhaps a better one. I hope. I'll admit, maybe it is a much worse scenario. But the main trend toward rolling back democracy is definitely continuing.
That didn't exist.
Which didn't exist, yes. Toward rolling back the illusion of democracy. It would have been undoubtedly realized. The main trend of exploiting the Versailles syndrome, it would have been realized by anyone.
Versailles syndrome, explained for you.
The Versailles syndrome is when we talked about injustice and its multi-vector nature, one of the main things for an imperial people, for a people whose entire culture for the last, say, 300 years before that was in an imperial paradigm. It was a feeling of being pushed out of Europe, especially out of world politics, into secondary or tertiary roles. For some it didn't matter, but for a significant part of the elite and the population, it did matter. So it was necessary to...
And Putin sort of brings Russia back.
Putin was restoring Russia as a major global player. He successfully provided the appearance of agency to Russia, because after the events in the Balkans, there was a widespread sense that...
You mean the Yugoslav war?
Yes. There was a feeling of Russia's absolute loss of agency. Basically, I believe the West did a great deal to ensure that we got Putin. If we're talking about a project, it's equally an internal political and a foreign political project, because the Western nations considered that the events of back in 1991 to 93, it was such a monumental and decisive turning point in Russia's history that the historical trajectory could never truly recover. And so they could move forward, considering Russia an extremely insignificant and minor political entity on the world stage. So yes, look, I don't really need to refer to anyone else. When Belgrade was bombed, I considered it a blatant crime and a direct violation of international law and national sovereignty. Back then, the Russian military response was led by the same general who would later try to talk Prigozhin down. This was the very same officer famous for the bold dash to Pristina, where he led his troops in a high-stakes maneuver to seize the Slatina air base before other international forces could arrive.
Not just to Pristina. He's the Deputy Minister of
Defense.
And before that, he actually served as the head of Ingushetia.
Ingushetia, that is right. Well, I actually watched it. Well, my eyebrows were certainly raised, but...
Yevkurov,
yes. But the whole country was watching, you see. And it turned out even worse because the people were all fired up. Every single person present there was already fully anticipating the fact that some kind of atrocities would happen. But Yeltsin sent that battalion to Pristina, and then it just fizzled out, you see? And it left this double feeling of resentment. All of this is what experts actually refer to as the Versailles syndrome, that deep-seated feeling of humiliation for a nation once militarized to its very core, which is now being shown its place in, let's say, a not-so-great corner of the world. And then they say, well, from here on, we'll go without you. It was a very powerful factor. There's no getting away from it.